All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rahak Wadash, double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. And I just wanted to do a quick on-the-go in the spirit lesson. Forgive me, I'm driving right now, so I can't jump to every single scripture on my phone, but I just got a few ideas, and if you'll just follow me through, may it bless you. All right. So this is John 4:21. This is Yahweh Shai speaking. He saith, "Woman, believe me." Yahweh Shai said unto her, "Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews." All right, and we know, of course, salvation is for the Jew, for Judah and for Israel. You know what I'm saying? Salvation is for all of Israel. All right, it said, "But the hour cometh." So he actually told her, hey, it's going to be a time where, our people are going to be scattered once again. He said, "But for the hour cometh, and now is when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him." Exactly. And that's very important for the faith, that we're worshiping the Heavenly Father in his spirit and in truth. Because one of the things that we see in the New Testament is you had those wicked Pharisees and Sadducees, and those wicked men who they knew that they were Israelites. They knew the law. You know what I'm saying? They knew certain prophecies. They had a certain level of understanding because they knew the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Because they knew at birth that they were Israelites. They had that understanding. All right, but they didn't worship in spirit and in truth, and that's why whenever they approached Yahweh Shai, they got cut. They got cut over certain issues. When certain things came up, they would get cut. Even though, they would know the law, they would know this and that, but, the Lord kept correcting them. Certain things. They saw what the disciples picking corn or something. They saw somebody eating and drinking, or they saw the Lord eating and drinking, and so they casted judgment based on that. But they really weren't looking for the day of the Lord. They really weren't looking for the waiting of the Messiah. And you have this big thing now where guys are talking about John, John this, John that. John wasn't the man of the Lord. Well, John, let's just get it. Matter of fact, let's get it. Wait, before I get to that though, it said verse 24, "The Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth." And we know, according to Paul, he said, all things lawful are not expedient. You know what I'm saying? So you have things that you might say, well, it's in the law, I could do it. It's in the law, I could do this, I could do that. It's in the law where, let's say a brother in your camp, he's dealing with a woman. He basically writes her a bill of divorcement. He basically said, man, fuck that bitch and stop dealing with her. And then, you start dealing with him because he's no longer with him. Now, according to the law, you could do that, but that brother's he's gonna be looking at you foul because, that's not in spirit and in truth of what brotherhood is supposed to be. That's kind of, brothers are gonna look at you funny after that. So, everything lawful is not expedient, and you don't want to get caught up trying to be over righteous and I believe I need to be doing it, but the scriptures talk about, well, let's get that, and then we're gonna get the thing on Paul. And then Salakia, again, I'm driving, so I'm trying to just keep the spirit going, because we're coming to a time, just like the Lord told that woman. Just like now, we're coming to a time where you got this virus over the earth. You got different military actions going on over the earth. The Middle East is still hot, on fire. That disease is spreading throughout the U.S., throughout the four corners of the earth. You got certain, we come up to the Passover. You got the curses off all over the earth. You got locusts and plagues and all kind of stuff. Same stuff that's from Egypt. All right. You got prophecies popping off. You got men of the Lord in the house of Israel bugging out because they haven't been right. And brothers have been rebuking them and correcting them, not out of hatred, but out of love. They never received it. And now those demons are starting to manifest. You know what I'm saying? Now it's really starting to stick out like a sore thumb, like they say. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of being sincere and worshiping the Lord in spirit and in truth. You know what I'm saying? Heeding to correction, heeding to understanding. All right? And in your own personal walk, because that's what it's first and foremost about. It's first and foremost about getting on yourself and watching over yourself in your personal walk, doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. Being responsible. Are you being considerate to brothers? Are you edifying and lifting brothers up and helping them build up in the spirit? Seeing your brothers go through situations and you kind of know the answers to it. Are you reaching out to them and keeping the brothers strong? Because it's one thing for us to come out and quote scriptures and yell in the streets and do all this shit, and then you get back to your own personal life. You know a million precepts, but you don't know how to apply them to yourself. You don't know how to have that peaceful spirit, and that's a part of who we are as Israelites. Being able to have that peace because we have the connection to the greatest spirit. We have the connection to the supreme rule of the universe through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, and that's what it's all about, man. That's what the correction is about. That's what the laws are about. To bring that peace, to bring that, using the wisdom to know how to operate on a day-to-day basis. And that's a big thing because it's so much confusion and chaos out here. It's so many pitfalls. You really got to be you got to watch, and you really got to be mindful, and you really got to examine yourself. All right, and that's a huge part of the ministry and what we do. All right, but this is Romans 13:1, and this is a part of doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because we have the examples have been set. It's because one thing about Jake, I'll say, we all want to be the leader of something. The scriptures talks about, we're a nation of kings and priests. We all want to be the leader. We all want to take charge and stuff. All right, this is Romans 13:1. It said, let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of the Most High. The powers that are ordained of the Most High, and those men have been set up as an example for us to see. You know what I'm saying? And all of the lessons and the testimonies right now, we can still get them. They're still on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? The people we're reading about, Lord willing, we can actually see these men in real life on a day-to-day basis and observe them. And hell, if you live close enough, you can even go around them and that's what it's about. Go around them, observing them, seeing how they move, seeing how they approach little small issues and how they deal with certain things. And that's what we're supposed to do. Be subject in the higher powers. And that's what causes divisions. That's what's caused divisions in the ancient world. You know what I'm saying? That's what causes divisions with our people who don't have the truth, not Latino, Native American, and so-called black people, because we go off into, because Esau amongst himself, he's divided, but he's been set up into power, and that's part of his power. Being that every time you see something of the metaphor which goes back to Esau, he's referred to that beast with the many heads, or that statue with the many parts, and the clay and the stone feet, all these other things of wickedness. They're always set up as in a division. You know what I'm saying? That it talks about with that eagle with the 3 heads, I believe, in 2nd Esdras 11. That's going into something else. That's going into I believe the times of Rome. But Esau, it talks about what his house being divided. When you see his leadership, they're divided. they disrespect each other face to face. They talk shit about each other back, but then when they get face to face, behind the scenes, they're probably cool, or they shake hands, or they're like, look, it is what it is. This is the game. This is what we do. All right, Israel, we're different. We're set up to be in order. We're set up to have that leadership, to have the understanding from the top on down, and that's something that we have to embrace. You know what I'm saying? That's the cheat code. That's the code. You got the code. Here it is. You got access to the answers right there. You gotta embrace it. You gotta embrace it, and don't be proud and don't hate it. That's just what it is, Because one thing I've been seeing, applying it for myself, is when you apply wisdom and you use these things that brothers have been teaching and all these lessons and stuff, it works. It works because these people, they don't know. They don't have a clue or idea, the way that this place works. They're just going off of feelings day to day. You know what I'm saying? And I go in there, and I just practice consistency, using the examples that the scriptures have set, using patience, using diligence, using understanding. And then what happens? Esau, he'll because Esau's the devil. He's gonna do what the devil does, but you can gain his favor. You know what I'm saying? You can gain his favor. All right. Just like Paul gained the favor by telling them, the different judges and stuff. He told them, yeah, I wish that you could be, one of the chosen. He let it be smooth unto him. He finessed them. And that's what it's not about finesse, but it is about, like I said, applying the scriptures daily. So that's just something to consider. Hey, this is verse 2. Whosoever therefore resisted the power, resisted the ordinance of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Don't if correction comes down upon you, if correction comes down from any brother, that's above you, or hell, correction might come from a brother who's on your level, or maybe a younger brother could ask you a question. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what younger brothers are supposed to do. They're supposed to question things, not necessarily disrespect or try to get puffed up at an older brother, but you know what I'm saying, if you see something that's not right, you do have to question it, and then make sure that you have the correct understanding as it pertains to the scriptures, because everything that we do, there should be a scripture behind it, basically. It said, resisted the ordinance of the Most High, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. And that's what it is, man. We're not a terror on any brother that's sincere or that wants to do good. But when people go about it the wrong way, and it's one thing to ask a question, but then it's another thing. People on the comment board, they try to jump to conclusions or something. No, just keep asking questions if you don't understand something. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you have to wait for that understanding to come to you. Maybe you just have to wait. Maybe you're just not getting it. It happened to me before on certain things. Maybe you have to reread something over again. Maybe you just have to give it time to sink into your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you really got it from the jump, but brothers are a little slow on it. So it's all through the spirit. It said, wilt thou then be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. Exactly. All right, and I'm going to jump to this part with John for the last verse. I believe it's Luke 9:45. Bear with me, please. And this is Luke 9:49. I got it. And this is something that the apostle was going into and different elders were going into. You know what I'm saying? Because you do have, and this is the spirit that the apostles and elders have been getting into. You do have brothers who are they might not necessarily be of Great Millstone, but they are in agreement, you know what I'm saying, with the scriptures that we teach. And we do pray that, you know, maybe we could you know, all agree upon, you know, the same walk, and we can agree upon the correctness of the scriptures from the apostles on down. It said, this is Luke 9:49. You know, because we pursuing the Romans 10, we do still hope that all Israel will be saved, but we know that 2/3 is going to be cut off and die. This is and it said, and John answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and we forbade him because he followeth not with us. And Yahushua said unto him, forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us. You know what I'm saying? You do have brothers who they teach the correct doctrine, because that's ultimately what it's about, you know, regardless of what camp you're with. You know, it might be somebody who's listening who's not with any camp. It's about the correct doctrine according to the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? But along with that, it comes the discipline. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna give double honors to the apostles, and you're gonna say salutations to sincere brothers who are preaching this same gospel, this true gospel, then, you know, it would behoove you to follow the ordinance, follow the men who, you know, spiritually they're over you. You know what I'm saying? So that's it on that, man, because it's at the end of the day, it's all about respect. Respect for the gospel, respect for the men who the Lord has given the spirit before you, who you learn from. All right? So with that being said, I want to say all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, Wadash, double honor to the apostles, the elders, Great Millstone, who rule well, peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. Shalom.